Hello and welcome to Best Sips Worldwide. I'm your drinking companion, Susan Schwartz, an American travel writer living in London. Thanks to my mother's love of martinis, the first words I spoke were shaken, not stirred, and I've been obsessed by the history of cocktails ever since. Through the years, I've been lucky enough to sip some of the best made by the best. Hear that sound? It's time to cozy up to the bar and let me introduce you to the movers and shakers of the world's most famous watering holes. On today's program, I sit down with James Trevaskis of my local 11 Cadogan Gardens, an intimate boutique hotel that is the toast of Chelsea. James began life as a sommelier, but then made the switch to mixologist. He can't help but bring his oenophilic knowledge to his cocktail making, and that's what makes this bar unmissable.
Well, I mean, really my passion for alcohol in general, to start with, started as I was a sommelier, working in high-end restaurants. But I also found a passion for the bar side of things, and particularly cocktails. So that's really where my passion stemmed from. Yes.
Was there like one day when you thought, I've just had enough of wine and now I want to get behind a bar?
Well, I mean, I'm still very much involved with the wine side, but it's always good to diversify and lead into cocktails. I was always a fond lover of the classic cocktail, and that's where you'll see our orientation in our cocktails, with a little modern twist. Also, I found a good relation, with sourcing particular liqueurs and different spirits. I found very, very important, and to bring something different to the classics.
When you say sourcing them,
yes.
Does that mean looking for smaller labels of
exactly, smaller producers, Eau de Vie from France. I was coming up with a lot along that line when I was a sommelier.
And did you find that you have a lot more freedom now to be creative?
Yes, of course,
is that
very much so.
another reason you were drawn to it? And in your cocktails, do you tend to use wine at all? I mean, do you ever meld those worlds?
We do a sort of variation on spritz, of course, the classic, which is good. And yes, I mean that's it. I mean, using different styles of maybe a prosecco. We use sometimes some Franciacorta as well, a little different, more sort of richer style, more towards the champagne style. So it's a little different from obviously the fresh prosecco. It brings a little twist to it, a little indulgence, and things like that. So it's good to cross over.
And when you were young, did you dream of the wine world? Was there a moment when you thought,
the most influential
what is this
character was my father.
Exactly.
The most influential character when I was younger was my father. Really, he had a wine cellar at home, so always would be collecting and following the wine world. And I suppose that really sort of rubbed off on me. Obviously, when we were sitting down, as a family dinner, we would always have good wine, and my mother's a fantastic cook, so that's sort of what goes hand in hand, really.
And where are you from?
I'm from the Isle of Wight originally.
All right.
I was born in London, but yes, my father semi-retired to the island, so that's where I grew up. So
and
very much in the
wine
country.
Just his hobby? He wasn't in. Was he in the business?
He wasn't in the business.
No.
No. He's an accountant. He's very boring.
No,
but
do you know where his love of wine came from?
I think through colleagues and the introduction to business and things like this. I think that's really where it stemmed from.
Did you
and
go
also
back and forth to France?
Yes, a little bit. Some very good childhood trips. But really, I think where it comes from was my uncle is a very fond lover of whiskey, and single malt. So I think that's where it really stemmed from. I think.
Do you find that whiskey lovers love good wine too?
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, the whiskey world is, it's a connoisseur's world, as much as wine. Particular producers, different productions of whiskey from each producer. It's very unique. wherever you move in Scotland.
Yeah,
exactly for the wine world. Yeah, you can relate completely. And also obviously the technique in aging. When I first discovered whiskey and Scottish whiskey, to use a barrel from the Sauternes in Bordeaux to produce a beautiful whiskey, I found fascinating, and also then learn about obviously the different sherry barrels used in the aging of whiskey as well. So it just opens up a whole new avenue to sort of educate yourself and learn. So.
And how did you find yourself here at 11 Cadogan Gardens?
So I used to work for Alexis Gauthier at a restaurant called Gauthier Soho, which was a one Michelin star restaurant, and that's obviously where I was continuing my passion for wine. And then I moved away and started a hotel with my friend on the Isle of Wight, and we completed that, and I was sort of on the market, as it were, and my boss, well, my old boss, Alexi, well, we're overseeing the F&B operation of 11 Cadogan Gardens, come and have a look and see what you think. And I came, I stayed, I fell in love with the building, the people, the place, and
is it much
and
different than working in a restaurant milieu?
Very much so, yes. I mean, I find
you have like two different sides to yourself. The one that's at Gauthier, because you were there this afternoon, right?
Sorry?
I think they said that you were there this afternoon.
Yes, yeah. So I was sort of doing a bit of sommelier. Yeah, it has to be, really. Although the recommendation side and the sort of personal touch, understanding the customer, the guest, their tastes, what they prefer, is similar. But the bar side, you have to be a lot more social and a lot more interaction instead of the discipline of say a restaurant and restaurant service at a high end.
Yes, I guess you can run away from the customer at a restaurant, really, and here,
you
iconic bar where you are everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Psychotherapist.
Exactly, the social worker, whatever, whatever you want to call it.
And in a small hotel like this, do you find that it's the same kind of...
A number of characters, but that's the beauty of the job. That really is.
And do you have a lot of people come to the bar very often? The same people come?
Yes, I mean returning guests. They will always come to us, whether they enjoy a nice whiskey or they want a particular cocktail, to see what we're developing at the time and to see. Yeah.
And how often, talking about developing the bar menu. About how often do you do it? I mean, I assume...
So we try to develop it seasonally. So we try to move with the seasons. Obviously, depending on the produce that's available, and sometimes if we, it's important for our team to sit down and to discuss, and because it's all about personality at the end of the day, and I really want our team to express that.
How many are in your team?
So it's just the two of us at the moment, but we're looking to take on another one. So as soon as the hotel is fully renovated, we'll be ready to go.
And so you do it seasonally. About how many new drinks do you create per season?
I'd probably say, I mean, we sit with about 5 house specials, but they're sort of quite unique things and quite specific. So yeah, I'd probably say 5 at every season, and then we keep our house classics and try to do them well.
Has there one that has just been so popular that you always keep it on the menu now? Like one or two?
Yeah, a bit of two signatures really now is the Gin Garden, obviously to represent Cadogan Gardens a little bit, but I'm very fond of gin. Obviously, there's been a big movement in the last sort of 5 or 6 years in gin, particularly.
And have you changed the gin that you've used when you in the gin garden or in the gin drinks that you always make? Has there been a gin where you said, "Oh my gosh, I have to put this in now"?
Well, actually, yeah, it's been a process. Thought process behind it. I mean, because we use a bit of cucumber and elderflower, initially we automatically thought Hendrick's would be the perfect option. Now we've moved to a little bit more to Sipsmith. We're actually using Sipsmith. We find it a little bit more aromatic, a little bit more rounded as well, so better for the cocktail. So yeah, it's always a process of tasting.
Yeah, Sipsmith has really taken the market by storm.
Fantastic.
I mean, in
Both
just a few years.
yeah, both their vodka and their gin is extremely high quality, and they've still retained that sort of image of more artisan and a boutique producer, which is good, which we like.
Yeah, we love that. So you said the gin garden, and what was the other one?
So we've actually developed a truffle cocktail.
Oh, all right, because of the
So
restaurant downstairs.
of course, yeah, the
Right.
association with the restaurant downstairs. So this took us about 6-8 months to develop. Quite unique. We use a good vodka. I prefer Babica vodka, but we also use Sipsmith as well, depending on the palate of the guest. We emulsify truffle oil with egg white, because obviously we don't want the oil to split.
Is this
It
black
creates
truffle
this.
oil or white truffle oil?
This is black truffle
Black
oil,
truffle,
but we have experimented with white truffle. Actually, we were very fortunate this year to get some really fantastic quality white truffle from Alba, Piemonte,
Yeah.
and I also visited Alba for the truffle festival as well, so I brought a little back. We're experimenting with white truffle salt and things like this. So we have done the white, but we mainly use black truffle, and we sort of source the truffle maybe from Abruzzo and sometimes Umbria as well, because you just get a bit more aromatic and earthiness to it.
And you said you mix that with.
So yeah, we
use
we emulsify
Emulsify,
with egg white and the truffle oil. So we create the truffle oil ourselves, and then we use a little bit of crème de châtaigne. So this is a chestnut
Right.
liqueur from France. So it just brings that sort of little bit of sweetness and a little bit of nuttiness as well to counteract it.
That sounds amazing.
So it
I mean,
might-
It sounds like something that I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, I mean
said
it's
before.
yeah,
You
it's.
know, those
I mean
flavors.
initially,
I've never
I mean.
had a drink with any truffle.
The idea we were firstly going along was it should be sweet and creamy, but we found that it was too much because of the aromatic. So really, hopefully, you'll see a contrast of the aromatic and creaminess of the truffle foam that we create, obviously with the egg white, and then a bit of citrus to
And
finish, so it's
do you
completely
serve that as an
balanced.
aperitif?
We serve it as an aperitif, but also recommend as a digestive as well, simple, maybe a dessert cocktail. So.
And was it a hard sell, at the beginning, or did just everyone wanted to try it?
No, it was, everyone was just like, okay, this is crazy, you've created a truffle cocktail, so I have to try it. I mean, the thing with truffle is that some people really love truffle and they will indulge completely, and some are sort of quite reserved and maybe new to it. So it's, it works well with that group of people. Yeah, and it's perfect if you're here starting the dining experience downstairs in the restaurant to try it.
Of course, if you're going to come to a truffle restaurant, you might as well start with a
Try
truffle
a truffle
drink,
cocktail.
right? And it's probably the only place in London, if not the world, that has this.
Exactly.
It's completely unique.
I mean, I know that sort of they've experimented in Scandinavia with some wild mushroom cocktails. I've seen this, sort of what's the word? Preserving girole mushrooms, so the little mushrooms, because they're slightly sweeter and creamier. I've seen martinis like this, things like that, but we wanted to create sort of a two-dimensional experience. So
It's really now back to the Eau de Vie.
yes.
Because I love Eau de Vie. And can you tell me about one of the cocktails where you sourced an Eau de Vie?
Okay, so one of the cocktails is Violetta. We use a Mirabelle. Actually, I shouldn't actually tell you this, but one of my very good friends, his wife is French and from Alsace, and her father produces the best schnapps I've ever had in my life, and he produced this small amount of Mirabelle. So we use this with a little bit of crème de violette and a little bit of citrus juice. And yeah, this is something very, very simple but very, very pleasant and quite feminine in a way, because you have the aromatics of the violet. Yeah, we sometimes use a little bit of rose, but it really depends on the guest. It really does.
So it sounds so romantic, all of these drinks. I don't know,
Yeah,
it's romance.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course there should be romance behind anything. If you're creating something, it's very, very important. And also, you know, you get to, it goes back to the point of grasping the guest and their taste and what they really, really enjoy.
It was a pleasure to have James make me my first truffle martini, an extremely enjoyable experience, I must say. After the daring or the classic, you'll leave wishing 11 Cadogan Gardens were your local too. Next up on the Best Sips Worldwide podcast is Mark Tuberty of New York's Classic 21 Club, one of the only bars to make it from the 18th Amendment through to the 21st, still intact. Until next time, bottoms up. For more information and links to everything you've heard about, plus a bit more, please visit bestbitsworldwide.com. Thanks for listening to Best Sips Worldwide, a spin-off of Best Bits Worldwide. Always remember the wise words of Oscar Wilde, all things in moderation, including moderation, and never drink and drive. Okay, I said that last part. Theme music is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. You'll find me at the bar